Hello and welcome to this small video tutorial series. Today we are going to talk about importing an HOLOSYS volumetric video sequence in the Alembic format into Blender. We will then learn how to add a tracking and a motion blur effect. For this tutorial, we will need two specific volumetric videos, one with a tracking, the other with velocities to do a motion blur. Let's begin with the tracking data. In 4DFX, apply rigid tracking on the part that you want to track, place it and process. Then, export it in 4D RAW. Open 4Dcoder and import your newly processed data. We want to export it in Alembic. For that, drag the Alembic preset, which is on the left, and drop it on your data on the batch. Ensure that the tracking box is checked on the export option. Choose a path to export your data. For the second part, we want to render a motion blur. For that, choose a data with a lot of action. You only need to import it into 4Dcoder and to check the Include Velocities box. Choose a path and process. Open Blender. First, remove the cube, then import your data. Choose File, Import, Alembic, and search for the file that you just processed with 4Dcoder. Now we want to put the texture on our data. Let's split our view and open the shader editor. Hit New to add a material. And then add Texture, Image Texture. Click on Open to choose your texture and pick the first image texture file. Change from single image to image sequence and modify the total frame value. Check the auto refresh box. You can put specular to 0 or play with the settings. On the wrench icon for the modifier property, uncheck vertex interpolation. If the texture is not playing well, you might need to change the FPS of your scene. Click on the printer icon for the output properties. Change the FPS to that of your volumetric video. You can also correct the frame range. Then, go to the camera icon for the render properties and change the render engine from Eevee to Cycles. Hit F12 to render the frame. To add a tracked object, in the outliner, look for the tracking line under your 4Dviews sequence. Import or create your object and place it where you want. Select your object to track, press Shift, and drag and drop it on the tracking line to set parent. The object is now following the tracking path. On our other data, we would like to render a motion blur. For that, go to the camera icon for the render properties and check Motion Blur. You can adjust the settings if needed. Then, click on the wrench icon and the velocity unit. You can change from seconds to frame. Render with F12. You can see that the motion blur is now applied.